Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Roznama, our daily newspaper analysis. The first piece of news that we will be covering today, and this is significantly very important because this is only the third time that India is undertaking this. And what is this? It is the International Fleet Review. Fleet here implies the vessels of the Navy, maritime vessels, including that of the Coast Guard as well. All right. So this is the third time that India is undertaking the International Fleet Review. It is being undertaken by the President of India. And the last two times, one was undertaken in 2016 by the then President Pranab Mukherjee, and the other one, or the first one, was undertaken in 2001 by APJ Abdul Kalam. All right. So this by far is the largest one that India has undertaken till now. And also here we have around 74 countries who have participated in this, and it is presently being undertaken in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. All right. And why has India undertaken this is aligning with India's vision of Mahasagar, which has been promoted, ideated by our Prime Minister during his visit to Mauritius last year, celebrating or commemorating the 10th anniversary of the Sagar initiative of the government. All right. So do keep an eye out for this piece of news. We've also given this as part of your top 5 GK yesterday. Okay. So you can get the static information from that. Then this I just wanted to flag to you all that we have INS Vikrant, which is an indigenously built Indian naval ship, which was a part of the International Fleet Review. Okay. Then coming to the next news piece for today, which is again the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin calling for a more federal form of government. All right. Now we already are a federal form of government, and when we talk of a federal form of government, a typical federal form of government, this simply implies division of powers between the states and the union. All right. So we have this in India. We have division of powers. Some subjects are allotted to make policies, programs, etc. to the central government. Some of them have been allocated to the state governments. The ones that are allotted to the central government are understood as the union list, the one allotted to the state government, the state list, and we also have a third list, which is the concurrent list. All right. All of these lists are found in the 7th schedule of the Constitution. And other than these lists, we also have another category of subjects, which is understood as residuary subjects. All right. Now, we are a federal form of government, and in a typical federal form of government, the states are more powerful. States more powerful simply implies that the states have greater autonomy in making policies, programs, and implementing them. For example, we have one more list, which is the concurrent list. And in case on any particular subject that is in the concurrent list, for example, education today, all right, now the state and the center both have been empowered to make policies, programs on education in India. But if, and in a federal structure, if both of them make laws, policies, programs on education, the law, policy, program made by the state is going to prevail over the law, policy, program made by the center. But this does not happen in India. Why? This is not the basic nature of federalism in India, is because we are not a typical federal country, but we are a quasi-federal country. All right. A quasi-federal country, which for the first time was, India was quoted as a quasi-federal country for the first time by a philosopher, K.C. Beer. All right. Okay. So he had said that India is a quasi-federal country. Now, what is a quasi-federal country? A quasi-federal country is one where there is division of power between the center and the state, but the state is more powerful. All right. Now, in India, the central government is more powerful than the state government. In terms of concurrent lists also, if the center makes a policy and the state also make a policy on the same subject, that made by the central government is going to prevail over that of the state government. Residuary powers are also vested in the central government, and the central government appoints governors in the states to keep a tab on the workings of the state government. All right. So along all of these lines, India is a quasi-federal structure, and recently we've seen innumerable instances where the center is trying to dominate the states. And one of the most important one that was in news since last year and was also one of the questions in the legal section of the Clat paper 2026 was the Tamil Nadu governor versus the government case. All right. Now, it was in that particular case that the Tamil Nadu government actually highlighted that there is a concerted need to bring about changes or amendment in the constitution to do away or take away some of the powers of the governor in the state, because the governor is an appointed head, whereas the chief minister and the legislative assembly is an elected head. And India, being a democracy, must give greater importance to the elected head and not the appointed head. All right. And to do this, there was a committee also that was formed in Tamil Nadu named as Justice Curran Joseph High Level Committee on suggesting reforms in the union state relations. All right. So the article talks about everything that the committee has suggested. The committee has given its suggestions, and the committee has recommended that the Indian structure now has to move away from a quasi-federal structure to a typical federal structure. All right, because now we are in the 77th year of our independence. Sorry, not 77, 79th year of our independence. And in this 79 years, we have actually become more consolidated, shown our solidarity than we did 79 years back. So back then, the conditions in the country were not such that we could have a typical federal structure, because then the states might want to secede from the union. Such is not the case today. So we can afford to have a typical federal government. All right. So do go through this one. 2-3 days back on the 17th of February, there was also an editorial by M.K. Stalin in the newspaper itself, which talked about that why should the government transition to a federal structure rather than from a quasi-federal structure. Okay. Then another piece of news that we have, two artificial intelligence based companies, Nvidia and OpenAI, who have announced to have partnerships with Indian firms to foster better education industry collaboration in the country. Okay, so do keep in mind the name of these two companies, firms, Nvidia and OpenAI. All right. Okay. Then you all know that right now, as of now, India is hosting the 4th Artificial Impact Summit and Artificial Intelligence Impact Summit. And like on everything, that India has a very, very liberal view on things. Along similar lines, India has also pitched for democratizing artificial intelligence. Now, when we look at the term democracy, it simply implies that a collaborative share of everybody. All right, that everybody must be given the right to have a say in anything that the government is trying to do. Now, here it is not with respect to any one country, that we are not talking about this in terms of India only, but we are talking about that when it comes to artificial intelligence, all countries, be it countries from the global north or be it countries from the global south, all of them must have equal access to artificial intelligence and the technology that supports it. All right. So again, one more thing that you must keep in mind is that this particular Artificial Impact Summit, which is the 4th one, is the first Artificial Impact Summit that is being undertaken in a global south country. The previous 3, the first one was in United Kingdom, second one was in South Korea, third one was France, where India and France both co-hosted it last year. This is for the first time that the global south country is hosting it. So if India can move up its game at this level, so naturally it is wanting that each and every country should have equitable access to such technologies. All right. Then one more thing here, that Google has signed a MOU with India to undertake subsea cables to link India and US. All right. So it is Alphabet, the parent company of Google, under Sundar Pichai, who has undertaken this particular initiative, that they are going to build subsea cable linking both these countries. All right, subsea cables meaning underwater in the Indo-Pacific region. All right. Okay. Then, because we are undergoing the AI Impact Summit, there is one particular firm known as Sarvam AI, which has unveiled two language models. All right. So LLMs have been in news since last year only. The government itself undertook development of its first large language model. LLM stands for large language model. And the one that we incepted last year, its name was Bharat Gen, which seeks to translate everything that is available in India into 22 languages. As of now, it is supporting 16. Sarvam AI, it is a Bangalore-based Bangalore-based company, and it has unveiled this LLM model, which is similar to ChatGPT and DeepSeek, and the name is Vikram. Okay, so do keep in mind the name of this particular model. It is important for a one-liner. All right, the previous article was from the Hindu, the Indian Express. This is from the Hindu. Keep the name of the model Vikram in mind. All right, now this particular article here, this is just a basic, within the court, inside the judiciary initiative that the Supreme Court is trying to undertake, where the Supreme Court forms a panel to guide judges about more compassion and sensitivity while giving verdicts. Okay, so you can go through this one. It's a good article. Then this particular article, this was an incident that happened last year, where this particular person, he was a Tripura boy, and his name was Angel or Angel Chakma, and he was basically, given or a lot of racial slurs were inflicted upon him, and then there was a group of people that bet him to such an extent that he eventually succumbed to his injuries and he died. All right, so since his death last year, there's a panel that was formed by the court itself to examine various pleas which have been filed in the judiciary against racial crimes. Okay, so racial crimes naturally is very, very sad in India, that a lot of people in India who live in the Northeast India, they are not considered to be a part of India, and they are given racial slurs, and sometimes the discrimination can go to such an extent that such children, they lose their lives. All right, so the Supreme Court has asked the government to consider a plea which is saying that racial slurs should be considered as a part of hate crime in the country. Okay, a good article, you must go through it, it is important. All right, then you all know that last month Donald Trump had established the Board of Peace, where India was also invited to be a part of it. India has not given any confirmations of joining the board, and in this particular Board of Peace, the meeting has just begun, and India did not participate in it, and it is also believed that India has distanced itself from any statement which is criticizing Israel's actions, and the reason behind it is considered that our Prime Minister is going to visit Israel sometime soon, and then it might in some way hinder the relations between India and Israel. All right, so since the Israel-Palestine or the Israel-Gaza war actually broke out 2 years back in 2023, India has never openly condemned Israeli actions, because India has initially had a hyphenation policy since the 1990s, and now since the present Prime Minister took power in 2014, India has adopted a de-hyphenation policy with respect to Israel and Palestine. So what was the hyphenation policy? The hyphenation policy simply implied that India is going to have equal relations with both Israel and Palestine. If any person from India, in the sense any leader from India, is visiting Israel, the leader is going to visit Palestine as well, and we would have equal relations. However, after Prime Minister Modi came to power, he announced a de-hyphenation policy, and under the de-hyphenation policy, it was stressed that it is not an imperative that India must have equal relations with both the countries, and thereby we've started having greater relations because of technological exchanges, etc., with Israel. All right, so this is the basic crux, that why, to ensure strategic autonomy, India has distanced itself from this. Okay. All right. Then another important news piece today. And why? Because they've talked about a scheme which is known as the Vibrant Village Program. All right. The Vibrant Village Program 1.0 was launched in 2023, and last year Vibrant Village Program 2.0 has been launched by the government in 2025. This particular scheme is also for 5 years, and the new one is also for 5 years. What is the purpose of the scheme? The purpose of the scheme is to undertake development of villages across India's borders in both the eastern part as well as the western part, and to bring about effective development of the country in these villages in these regions, so that these regions, they don't develop separatist tendencies and they don't feel like joining or becoming a part of our neighboring countries. All right. So this is the purpose of the scheme, and the government has announced that Vibrant Village Program 2.0 is going to cover 1,954 strategic villages across the land borders with Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Myanmar in 15 states and union territories. And this particular scheme is undertaken by Ministry of Home Affairs in India. Okay. All right. Then again, a news piece on simultaneous elections. The Joint Parliamentary Committee is examining the bill on simultaneous election and is considering a provision that would bar introduction of a no confidence motion against an incumbent government if only 1 year of its term remains. All right. Now, simultaneous elections is that we undertake elections in the country at the same time as that for the center as well as for the state assemblies. The purpose of this is only to, whenever elections are being undertaken in at the center, all the political parties, they start putting themselves into political campaigning, which also results in taking away their attention from governance, administration, management, etc. And then whenever you are undertaking political campaigns, naturally you spend a lot of money. All right. Now, if the BJP is contesting elections for the Lok Sabha, it is going to undertake political campaigns everywhere, spend a lot of money and a time, and their time in different states, taking away their attention from administration. And similarly, if maybe elections are due in any state also, then also the BJP leaders are going to go to these respective states to undertake political campaigning, which is a major drain on the country's administration and resources. To do away with such glitches, the government proposed undertaking simultaneous elections along the tagline of One Nation, One Election. And it was a committee which was headed by Ramnath Kovind, the previous president of India. And he had submitted its report suggesting that we must undertake such a type of simultaneous elections in the country. Now, when you are taking, when the first cycle of simultaneous elections actually takes place in the country, so naturally, there would be a lot of states which maybe have not completed their 5-year term. And then eventually also, you cannot ever say that whenever a legislative assembly is elected, that particular assembly will have security of tenure. There can be chances that a no confidence motion, a censure motion is passed against the government and the government fails. All right. So this particular panel is saying that in such a case, if the present government has only 1 year left in any particular state, then a no confidence motion, etc., would not be permitted. All right, only to prevent any non-alliance or mismatches in the election cycle at the center and the states. All right. Okay. Then everybody knows that Trump had kept his eyes very keen on Greenland of late. So there is this reiteration of a treaty which is known as the Helsinki Treaty, which was signed in the year 1962, and it is also known as the Treaty of Cooperation between the Nordic countries. What are the Nordic countries? Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. These are the Nordic countries, and the Helsinki government gave full control to the Danish-ruled territories of Greenland and Faroe Islands, as well as Finland's Hind Islands. All right. So the Nordic states, they have now moved in together to deepen ties with Greenland after Trump has issued threats to overtake Greenland. Okay. Okay. Then again, right now we are the global, there is a conference that is being held in Munich known as the Munich Security Conference. This particular conference is similar to the Raisina dialogue that we have in India. The Munich conference was started in 1963, and the purpose of this conference is again to bring in countries from different parts of the world and undertake major discussions in the global geopolitics to ensure a peaceful world order. All right. So as of now, India is also participating in this. We have our foreign minister, S. Jaishankar, who is representing India here in the Munich conference. And this particular here, we have Mark Rubio also, who is the US Secretary of State. And he in the Munich Security Conference, which is being held in Munich in Germany, he has basically brought in a tabled a plan for a new world order, and he makes lucid statements like the old world order is gone, and everybody must align themselves with the changing global orders and must work together for a peaceful, more secure country, etc., etc. Okay, so you can go through this one particular article as well. Okay, then another and a very important piece of news is that Rajya Sabha elections have been declared to take place on March 16. All right. So 10 states and 10 states will be undertaking their elections, and out of for 37 seats. All right. So the election commission on Wednesday announced election for 37 Rajya Sabha seats across 10 states, which are going to fall vacant. Now, how are they going to fall vacant? There are certain facts that you must remember, that Article 80 of the Constitution makes provisions for the total number of seats in the Rajya Sabha. As per Article 80, the Rajya Sabha is to have 250 seats. As of now, the Rajya Sabha has 245 seats. All right. Then also we have the fourth schedule of the Constitution. The fourth schedule of the Constitution also talks about the allocation of seats to the Rajya Sabha. All right. Now, Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament, and it is a permanent house. It is a permanent house, meaning that it is not subject to dissolution. It does not end under any circumstances, and all the members who are elected in the house, they have a term of 6 years, and every 2 years we have around 1/3 members who retire. Okay, and then it is elections to these retiring members that are undertaken. Okay. So, and also one more thing, that there are around 12 members which are nominated by the president in the Lok Sabha, and elections to the, nominated to the Rajya Sabha, and elections to the Rajya Sabha undertaken through the system or process of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote system. Okay. So this is everything with respect to the Rajya Sabha elections that you must keep in mind. Okay, this the previous article was from the Indian Express. The same article is in the Hindu also. Do go through this. Keep it in mind. It is important for exams. All right. Okay. Then the United Nations Security Council has also decided that they are also going to meet, and they are going to make decisions on the Gaza peace plan and peace agreement before Trump's Board of Peace has a meeting. Okay. Then Bangladesh's Prime Minister, the new one, Tariq Rahman, has been sworn in yesterday. We had our speaker Om Birla representing the Indian government to his swearing in ceremony, and here he has agreed to make Bangladesh into a safe land for people of all faiths. So recently there were a lot of videos on social media, a lot of news on social media, which had actually shown that how Bangladesh Muslims have been undertaking very violent activities against the Hindus in Bangladesh. There was open live fire, putting a lot of Hindus on fire in Bangladesh itself. So many instances of such ideas did come up. Now he has ensured that he is going to bring back democracy and secularism in the country. Okay, and he belongs to the BNP, that is the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and he is the son of the former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. Do keep it in mind. Okay. Then Russia, Iran and USA have their differences, and the tensions have still not dissolved, instead, in spite of them holding talks to bring about resolution of their disputes. So Iran has undertaken fortification, that is protection of their military facilities, because of USA's anti-behavior against Iran. All right. So last year we had the 12-day war, which was between Iran, US, and Israel. And taking cue from that only, Iran has prepared itself for any such further attacks. Okay. Okay. Then also Russia and Ukraine, they are also holding their talks in Geneva to bring to a conclusive peaceful end the Russia-Ukraine war, which began in 2022. And as of now, the information that we have is that both the countries, they have not come to any conclusive end, and again they have come to a deadlock. What is a deadlock? That none of them are budging from their stances, and hence no peaceful resolution of the dispute can be seen in the near future. Okay, then another article on the use of artificial intelligence in ensuring safety of safety of mankind on road. All right. So to undertake this, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, in collaboration with IIT Madras, has developed Sanjay. All right. So do keep in mind the name Sanjay, an AI-driven road safety platform, which is currently being implemented in 100 of the country's most accident-prone districts in 17 states. All right. The name Sanjay naturally draws its inspiration from Mahabharata, where we had Sanjay as the brother of Dhritarashtra, who was basically giving all the info to Dhritarashtra from the battlefield. Okay. All right. Then another article, 2 days back, I had discussed this with you all in detail. So I'll not be getting into the details of this. The Supreme Court is undertaking a review of the Sabrimala verdict of 2018. In 2018, the Supreme Court had allowed women in the age group of 10 to 50 years to participate in the temple proceedings and worships, etc., who previously were not permitted to enter the temples. So as of now, there were multiple petitions which were filed, and now they are going to review their previous verdict of 2018. Then coming to the editorials for today. The first one is on the Great Nicobar project, which has been passed by the NGT. What is the NGT? The National Green Tribunal, which was established in 2010. The purpose of the National Green Tribunal is only to ensure that ecological impacts of any infrastructure development project that is undertaken in the country must be first verified before it is implemented. All right. So the Great Nicobar project was actually put on hold by NGT for many years, and now NGT has finally given its approval. It is a 92,000 crore project. And what is the project actually trying to do? It is envisaging a transshipment port in the Great Nicobar Islands, an international airport, township development, a 450 megavolt amperes gas and solar based power plant, and also it is trying to undertake developments in the marine wildlife sanctuaries regions, and it is these Galathea Bay region which actually is a home to leatherback turtles, which is going to be impacted the most under this particular project. All right, so do go through it. An important one. All right, now we will have multiple articles on AI, naturally, because the AI Impact Summit is being undertaken. This particular article talks about that how AI, artificial intelligence, and its incorporation has, created major problems for copywriting information, because a lot of it is available through AI. AI can seek information, collecting big data, etc., which makes it a problem to instill somebody's copyright over something. So the article basically says that how India can actually make a breakthrough in this and bring about better or suggest better initiatives and ways through which a copyrights and entire problem associated with it could be restored effectively. Then this particular article, which is written by our Union Minister of Labour and Employment, Mansukh Mandavia, and the Director General of ILO, Gilbert F. Huangbo, which talk about that how artificial intelligence could be used to foster social justice in the country. That how initiatives or technology-driven initiatives can bring about fostering accessibility to resources to everybody. The article also draws inspiration from India's e-Shram portal, which seeks to register large number of people and enables the government to draw their information and help them seek jobs and other social security benefits. All right. This particular article, yesterday in the newspaper, we had a wonderful article where the army had participated in the AI Impact Summit and had outlined the innumerable initiatives with respect to artificial intelligence that the army has undertaken in India. All right. And this particular article basically shows that although artificial intelligence has dual use, that it can be used for protection to the citizens as well as for other citizen-centric welfare opportunities, it must be used, implemented with various safeguards, because if not done effectively, it can cause major problems in undertaking or ensuring India's national as well as international security. And it says that India should utilize the opportunity to push for a non-binding framework rooted in its principles of accountability and aligned with India's own interests. All right. This particular article also talks about that AI governance should not be very, very rigid, and a third, more compatible way should be undertaken to ensure that the strategic autonomy of various countries are met, and also it must ensure welfare of everybody in the world. Like India vouches for democratizing AI, the same should be used by India here in this AI platform to enable other countries also to get access to the same. Okay. All right. Then another article talks about, gives us a lot of information saying that of late, a lot of people, they've been too much dependent on ChatGPT and other sorts of artificial intelligence platforms, which somehow is taking away the creativity of the people. Now, the article says that it does take away creativity if you are being too much dependent on artificial intelligence, but then it also tells us that how people can effectively utilize artificial intelligence creatively to enhance their creativity. Okay. All right. Then this article, it actually gives us the entire detail of how a collegium system for appointment of the judiciary came about in India, and now there is a bill that has been tabled in the parliament to bring about certain changes in the appointments of the judiciary. All right. So when we look at the constitutional provisions, we have Article 124 of the Constitution, which talks about establishment of a collegium for appointment of judges in the Supreme Court, as well as appointment of the judges in the High Courts under Article 217. High Courts Article 217, Supreme Court under Article 124. Okay. So this collegium system, it evolved through three judges case. The first judges case of 1981, it said that the recommendations of the Chief Justice of India will not be binding on the president, and the decision of the president to make appointments, transfer, etc. of the Supreme Court judges would be a sacrosanct. Then in 1993, we had the second judges case, which said that a collegium system must be formed because the executive can't undertake decisions with respect to appointment, transfer, etc. of judges. And this was given a sacrosanct seal through the third judges case of 1998, which called for the formal inception of a collegium system. Then it was eventually believed that this collegium system, which includes only of the members of the judiciary, takes away any equivalent right, any non-favoritism. It makes appointments to the judiciary on the basis of nepotism, on the basis of favoritism, which some way would, in some manner, would do away with the independence and the fair character of the judiciary. All right. Then in 2014, there was an amendment to the constitution known as the 99th Constitution Amendment Act, which resulted in the establishment of NJAC, National Judicial Appointments Committee, of 2014. Okay. And this NJAC called for inclusion of the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition of the Lok Sabha, the Union Minister of Law and Justice, and another cabinet minister to make recommendations for appointment of the judges. This was scrapped 1 year later in 2015 because it was seen that it hindered the independence of the judiciary, which was basically against the basic structure of the constitution. The basic structure of the constitution entails that the judiciary in India is supposed to be an integrated and independent judiciary. All right. However, in the recent times, it was again seen that appointments in the judiciary are mostly made on the basis of favoritism and nepotism, and all members belonging to different castes and categories are not adequately represented. So this particular bill has talked about equal representation of people belonging to the SC, ST, OBC, women, and other religious minority categories in the high courts and the Supreme Courts. All right. So it's a good article. Do go through it. Then again, this article by Shashi Tharoor basically talks about the implications of inclusion of all 6 stanzas in the Vande Mataram. All right, so Vande Mataram, our national song, adopted on 24th of January 1950. When it was adopted, back then it was only inclusive of 2 stanzas. Recently, the government has brought out new guidelines commemorating 150 years of Vande Mataram, where the government has now said that it is going to include all 6 stanzas. The problem with inclusion of all 6 stanzas is that India is a secular country, and giving recognition to the Article 25, Article 26, which is a fundamental right giving each and every person the freedom of religion in the country, if the last stanzas of the Vande Mataram, which actually aligns with Hinduism, it can't be expected that people belonging to other religious faith relate to it effectively and sing it with as much feeling as people belonging to the Hindu religion do. So naturally, the article says that it must not be forced on them. In case they don't sing it, they are quiet, but they are respectful about it, then it should be considered as their fundamental right to liberty. All right. And it also draws contrasts with a case of I believe Kerala, yeah, Jehovah's Witness case of 1986, where in Kerala there were 3 children in school who did not sing something which was not as per their religious beliefs. They were not disrespectful, they were just quiet about it. So along similar lines, it must be given, this right must be extended to everybody in the country. Okay. Then, yes, again, an article on the artificial intelligence and its impact, and then naturally how it affects the right to information act. You can go through it. We've had, I think, enough of artificial intelligence. The next one is, this year we are commemorating 75 years of the creation or construction of Chandigarh. All right, so Chandigarh began its construction the year 1950-51, and the entire city was completely made by 1964. And this city was made by Le Corbusier, and it is a planned city, India's first planned city, and it was a city which is a shared capital of India, of Punjab and Haryana as of now. And also, one thing that you have to keep in mind with respect to this is that this year it is celebrating 75 years, and it is also the one city which and its capital region is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And another thing, that the High Court of Chandigarh, all right, is also a part of the UNESCO World Heritage Capital City. All right. So do go through this article. Basically gives you an idea about Chandigarh, its inception, and also draws one information about Nek Chand, who is the creator of the famous rock garden of Chandigarh. Okay? All right, this article gives you a good detail of the Nicobar project, what the government is implying to do, and what are its ecological difficulties that are being faced if this particular project comes through. Okay. Okay, then coming to the news in short and brief for today, we have one village in Maharashtra, Sondala. All right, this particular village, they have now passed a resolution to become a caste-free village. All right. Is it legitimate to do so? Absolutely. Since the enforcement of the Indian Constitution on 26th of January 1950 and inclusion of Part 3 in the Indian Constitution, which talks about fundamental rights, specifically the fundamental rights under Article 14 to Article 18, the right to equality, and more specifically, Articles 15, 16, and Article 17. Article 15 talks about no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, race, gender, religion. Article 16 of equality of opportunity without any discrimination on the basis of race, caste, gender, religion, place of birth. Article 17 talks about removal of untouchability. So all of these inclusions basically imply that under the constitution, there is no recognition that is being given to the caste system in the country. So since we became a republic 77 years ago, we are on paper a caste-free country, but naturally it is nowhere in practice in India. Caste system is still very rigidly engraved in India, and this is a very wonderful initiative that has been taken up by this very small village, which is now on the path or is trying to become a caste-free village. Okay. All right. Then another information is that Iran and Russia, they are undertaking joint naval exercises in the Sea of Oman. Now, two stark enemies of USA are undertaking joint military exercises in the Sea of Oman. Right on the Sea of Oman, we have a small strait, the Strait of Hormuz, which has been blocked by Iran as of now. Do keep it in mind. Then another, just a repetition of Bangladesh's Prime Minister reiterating the fact that it is going to foster secularism in the country. Okay, then another one that we have a cheetah that was brought in under Project Cheetah of 2022 to the Kuno National Park from South Africa. Her name is Gamini and she has given birth to 3 new cheetah babies. All right. And now we have a total of 38 cheetahs in the country. Cheetahs, we did have cheetahs in India, became extinct in 1952. Then in 2022, we undertook a project, Project Cheetah, to translocate African cheetahs into India. Initially, it was signed with Namibia and South Africa. Then last year, we've also signed another memorandum of understanding with Botswana. So as of now, we are translocating cheetahs from 3 countries. First, they were brought to Kuno National Park. Then naturally, there were conflicts within the other animals or with the other animals as well. So another park was outlined, which is the Gandhi Sagar Park of MP, and now a third one has also been outlined, which is the Nora Dehi Park. Okay, so do keep this also in mind. Then another one-liner is that Smriti Mandhana, she has been named as the Sportswoman of the Year at BBC Indian Sportswoman of the Year Awards 2025. Okay, then US President Donald Trump's Board of Peace for Gaza is scheduled to hold its first meeting today. Okay, India is not a part of this particular meeting. Kamini has given birth to 3 new cubs. Then today marks the first day, beginning of Ramzan, and every Muslims all over the world are going to observe fasting from today for the next 1 month. All right. So this is everything for today's newspaper analysis. It was a pretty long one and too much of artificial intelligence in it. I'm sure that you must also be as bored of it as I am, but then we have to do it. Okay. Then I'll see you tomorrow with the next one. Thank you.